Hello students, in this video we are going to study the remaining part of the chapter 4. The chapter name is Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. Class 8, Subject Science, NCERT. So before starting this remaining portion, let me recall what we had learned in the previous video of this chapter. So in this previous video, we had seen some of the examples of metals and non-metals. So iron, copper, aluminium, nickel, zinc, gold, silver, etc. are metals. Other than this, sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium are also metals. Then we had seen some of the examples of non-metals. So carbon, sulfur and phosphorus etc. are solid non-metals, and whereas oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen etc. are gaseous non-metals. Then we had seen some physical properties of metals and non-metals. So in the physical properties of metals, first we had seen that is malleability. So the metals can be hammered into thin sheets. That means we can make thin sheets from the metal. So this property is known as the malleability, and metal contains this property. Then we had seen metals are good conductors of heat. That means heat and electricity can be easily passed through the metals. The next property that we had seen, that is ductility. So metals can be drawn into thin wires. We can make thin wires from the metals. So metals have this ductility property. Then we had seen that metals are sonorous. That means they produce ringing sound when they are beaten. Next property we had seen, that is lustrous. So metals have shiny surface. They are shiny in appearance. And then after we had seen that they are hard. Metals are hard in nature, but there are some exceptions also, that is with sodium, potassium and lead. These are the metals, however we can cut them with a knife. So these are the physical properties of metals. Then we had seen the physical properties of non-metals. In that we had seen the non-metals can break into pieces, or they break into pieces on hammering. They are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. There is also one exception, that is with graphite. Graphite is non-metal, however it is the good conductor of electricity. Then we had seen that non-metals cannot be drawn into thin wires. That means we cannot make thin wires from the non-metals. They are non-sonorous, that means they are not producing ringing sound when we beaten them. And they are soft and dull in appearance. So these are some of the physical properties of non-metals. Now in this video we will see some of the chemical properties of metals. So in these chemical properties, we will start with the reaction with oxygen. The reaction with oxygen of metals and non-metals. So you are already familiar with the phenomena of rusting of iron. So now you have to recall the reaction by which the rust is formed. And you had already seen this reaction. So you had also performed in the class 7 an activity of burning a magnesium ribbon in air, which is the similar phenomena or which is the similar process that of rusting of iron. So first let we see what is this process of rusting of iron. So that process is of rusting of iron. So from this process we can say that, or you had already learned this, that both this process, that is burning of magnesium ribbon and rusting of iron, in these processes oxide formation take place or oxide is formed. So you have to complete this following reaction of iron and magnesium with the oxygen. So here the equation or the chemical reaction is given to you. We have to write the produce, what is the produce at the end of this process. So the first process is iron and oxygen. With that, water is also there. The first process or first equation represent the rusting of iron or the process of rusting of iron. That means iron is there, it process with oxygen where the water vapor is present or with the moist air. So Fe, that means iron, reacts with oxygen, that is O2, in the presence of water vapor, that is H2O. So at the end you will get iron oxide, that is Fe2O3, iron oxide, Fe2O3. So at the end you will get this as the resultant or product. We will see these equations in our exercise. Next is burning process of magnesium ribbon. Here you will get iron oxide, that is Fe2O3. Next process is burning of magnesium ribbon in the air, that means magnesium and oxygen. Chemical process of magnesium and oxygen, you will get the magnesium oxide, that is MgO. Mg represents magnesium and O2 is oxygen. So at the end you will get magnesium oxide, that is MgO. So now here another activity is given to you. Let me check this activity. Let us check the nature of rust that is formed as the result of the reaction between iron, oxygen and water. That means whatever rust we are getting in the rusting process of iron, now we want to check the nature of this rust, whether it is acidic or basic. So for that, collect a spoonful of rust and dissolve it in a very little amount of water. Add this rust into the water and you will find that the rust remains suspended in the water. That means you will notice that the particles of this rust that will float on the water. And shake, now you have to shake this suspension well. You have to shake this mixture well and taste this solution with the red and blue litmus paper. Here in the figure it is shown to you. And then after you have to notice that what do you observe is the solution is acidic or basic. Here the rust suspension is shown to you, and then after you have to check this suspension with the litmus paper, red litmus paper and blue litmus paper. Here in the saucer the rust is shown to you. So now let me check. After performing this activity, you will notice that the solution of rust and water changes the color of red litmus paper into blue, and the color of blue litmus paper does not change. So from that we can say that rust are basic in nature because they are changing the color of red litmus paper into blue. So now that was the activity to check the nature of the rust that is formed as the result of reaction between iron, oxygen and water. So now Paheli has some question that does copper also get rusted? So yes, she had already seen a greenish deposit on the surface of copper vessel. So that is the rust for the copper. When a copper vessel is exposed to moist air, that means the air in which the water vapor is also present over there. So copper vessel is exposed to this kind of air for long duration of time. It requires a green coating, dull green coating. It will gain the green coating. You will generally see the green coating on the copper vessels. So this green material is a mixture of copper hydroxide, that means CuOH twice, and copper carbonate, that is CuCO3. So the following reaction, that means this reaction take place when the copper vessel is exposed to a moist air. So here it is shown to you, that is copper. It is exposed to a moist air, that means it contains hydrogen H2O, that means water, and CO2, that is carbon dioxide, and in the presence of air, that means O2, this all will combine and it will form copper hydroxide, that is CuOH twice, and copper carbonate, that is CuCO3. So this reaction will take place when the copper vessel is exposed to a moist air. So copper also get rusted. So now recall the activity of the burning of magnesium ribbon. The ash obtained on burning magnesium ribbon is dissolved in water and tested for its acidic or basic nature. The same activity we have to perform with the ash of the magnesium ribbon to check the nature of this ash, that is whether it is acidic or basic in nature. So is this solution acidic or basic, and how do you ascertain this? We have to check the solution of the ash of this magnesium ribbon is acidic or basic. So for that, now let me check this activity. So from the activity, you must have observed that the red litmus paper turns blue. So we can say that oxide of magnesium is also basic in nature. So in generally we can say that metallic oxides, that is whether it is an iron oxide or magnesium oxide, these are basic in nature. So metal oxides, oxides of metal are basic in nature. Example, that is iron oxide and magnesium oxide. So that is we had seen for metals. Now what about the oxides of non-metals, or the reaction of non-metals with the oxygen? So let us now observe the reaction of non-metals with oxygen. So to check the reaction of non-metals with the oxygen, the next activity is given to you, that is activity 4.4. So you do not have to try this activity at your home. You have to just see this activity, because this should be demonstrated by the teacher in the classroom only. So for that we have to take a small amount of powdered sulfur in the deflagratory spoon. deflagrating spoon. That means this kind of spoon. Here in the figure it is shown to you. This one is the deflagrating spoon. You must have seen this in your kitchen. So for this activity we have to use this kind of spoon, and then we have to heat this spoon, or we have to heat this sulfur powder. If the deflagrating spoon is not available, you may take a metallic cap of any bottle and wrap a metallic wire around this cap and give it the shape of the deflagrating spoon. Here it is also shown to you that if you do not have the deflagrating spoon, then you can also use the cap of the bottle, metallic cap of any bottle, and you can wrap the metallic wire around this cap. So here you can get the improvised, that means temporary deflagrating spoon. So then after heating this powder, as soon as the sulfur starts burning, introduce the spoon into a glass jar or glass tumbler. As this sulfur starts burning, we have to put the spoon in this glass tumbler or glass jar, and then after we have to cover this tumbler with a lid to ensure that the gas produced does not escape. Here it is shown to you that after putting this deflagrating spoon in the glass jar, we have to cover this glass jar with the help of the lid so that the gas that is produced does not escape. Now remove the spoon after some time and add a small quantity of water into the tumbler and quickly replace the lid. After some time we have to remove this deflagrating spoon, and then after we have to add some amount of water into this glass tumbler, and then quickly we have to again cover this lid, and then after we have to shake the tumbler well, and then we have to check the solution with the red and blue litmus paper. So here it is shown to you. After getting this solution, we have to check this solution with the red and blue litmus paper, and then we have to observe what is the nature of this non-metal oxide, that is sulfur oxide. So after performing this activity, we will get to know that blue litmus paper turns or changes to red litmus paper, but there is no effect on red litmus paper. So from this activity we can conclude that sulfur dioxide is an acidic oxide in nature. That means the oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. So let me now see this activity. So here you can see gas jar which is made up of glass, in which we had put deflagrating spoon, and lid is also there. Now we are adding the sulfur powder to this spoon and we are heating this, and then after we are putting this into the glass jar and cover it with the lid. Here you can see that we are heating the sulfur powder. So sulfur dioxide gas is released during this process, and that is you can see in this glass jar. So after some time we are adding the water to this jar and we are again covering it with the lid, and we are shaking this glass jar so we can get sulfurous acid. Then after we are checking the nature of this acid with the help of litmus paper. So we can see that blue litmus paper turns into red. So that was the activity to check the nature of oxide of non-metal, that is sulfur dioxide. So the name of the product that is formed in the reaction of sulfur and oxygen is sulfur dioxide gas. And when sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, we can get sulfurous acid. So sulfurous acid is formed, and this reaction can be represented or can be given by this equation, that is sulfur dioxide, that is SO2, when it dissolves in water, that means plus H2O, in the product it will give sulfurous acid, that is H2SO3. The sulfurous acid turns blue litmus paper into red. and generally oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. So by this activity we can say that the oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. So now recall the name of some of the laboratory acids and bases you have read in the class 7 and note down their names in the table 4.4 which is given on the top of this page. So identify the metal or non-metal presence in them which forms oxides with oxygen. So now here, as you can see in this table, we have to write the name of the base or name of the acids and which metals or non-metal components are present in this acid and base. So now let me see this table. So here the first half part of the table is given to you, that is name of the base and which metal elements are present in this base. So first, that is zinc hydroxide. So the name of the metal that present in this zinc hydroxide is zinc, as the name is itself suggests. So it is the zinc present in the zinc hydroxide. Next is magnesium hydroxide. And the metal elements that present in the magnesium hydroxide is magnesium, and it is base. Next is calcium hydroxide, and the metal present in the calcium hydroxide is calcium. Next is sodium hydroxide. So the metal present in sodium hydroxide is sodium. Last one is potassium hydroxide, and potassium metal is present in the potassium hydroxide, which is basic in nature. So these are the different names and the names of the metal elements that is present in these bases. So from this we can say that each hydroxide contains non-metal and elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen, as the hydroxide represents OH. So this hydroxide contains non-metal element, that is oxygen and hydrogen, and these both are the non-metal elements. So now let me see the other half part of this table, that is name of the acid and the non-metal element that is present in this acid. So here the first name is hydrochloric acid. So the non-metal elements that are present in this acid, that is hydrochloric acid, is hydrogen and chlorine. Next is sulfuric acid. So non-metal elements are hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. These are present in the sulfuric acid. Next is nitric acid. So hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen are present in the nitric acid, and these all are the non-metal elements. Next example is carbonic acid. So hydrogen, carbon and oxygen are present in the carbonic acid, and these are the non-metal elements. And last one is sulfurous acid. So hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen are present in the sulfurous acid, and this all acid contains hydrogen, that means H+. This all acid contains H+, that means we can say hydrogen, which is non-metal elements. So this is the table of name of the base and name of the acid, which contains metal and non-metal elements. So in this video we had seen the chemical reaction of iron with oxygen and water vapor. That means chemical reaction of metal with oxygen. In that we had seen reaction of iron and magnesium with oxygen, and from that we had concluded that all the generally metallic oxides are basic and in nature. And then after we had seen the chemical reaction of non-metals with the oxygen, and from that we had concluded that non-metals or the nature of the non-metallic substance or non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. In that we had seen the reaction of sulfur with the water vapor, or with the oxygen. So then after we had seen that sulfurous acid, that is, turns blue litmus paper into red. So from that we concluded that oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. So we in this till this or up to this we had seen different physical properties of metals and non-metals, and in the chemical properties of metals we had seen that metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxides which are basic in nature, and non-metals reacts with oxygen to form non-metallic oxides and which are acidic in nature. And at last we had seen one table which represents the different names of acid and bases and which metals and non-metal elements they are containing. So in the next video we will see the reaction of metals and non-metals with water, acids and bases, and then after we will see the displacement reactions and these uses of metals and non-metals. Thank you.